Communications Orientation. You are here because you signed up during Next Steps 2.0 to be a part of the TFC Communications team, and we are so glad to have you. So today I will talk about roles and expectations, our workflow, different areas of service, and then I'll have you complete a skills discovery at the end of this session so that we can place you within the right group on our team. So in general, you've seen a description like this at Next Steps 2.0 that talks about TFC communications. And the purpose of this team is to develop and maintain content for TFC notifications and correspondence. In its original format, you may have seen it say that we do this for the TFC Atlanta app, but that is only one piece of the scope that we cover for this team and as we serve TFC. So the win is that TFC partners can actively engage in the TFC community by accessing timely and relevant information. And as I continue to go through this presentation, you'll learn about the different areas where this particular team has an impact that you may not even realize because we're kind of in the background. So about expectations, we are not the marketing team. And I like to clarify that because we do not do anything with social media. Now, some of the content that we provide or that we review does get shared with the social media team. So you may see it in a different form on social media platforms like Facebook or Instagram, maybe even TikTok, but that is not our focus, so to speak. We are not focused on marketing and being the front-facing ministry for TFC. There's another team that does that. And we do not create messages, we refine messages. I like to emphasize that because the content that we produce is based on information that is provided to us. So for example, there may be a special event that is coming up. Whomever is the lead for that special event may reach out to our team and give us all the details, even tell us the feel or keywords that they want to use. And it's even better when they create a full draft. So what we're doing is reviewing and revising and making sure that not only is it grammatically correct and has the correct punctuation, but that it matches with the tone and the feel and the culture of TFC. We help each other. That is probably the most important piece of the roles and the expectations. While we do have different subsets and groups within the communications team, it's not out of the ordinary for us to kind of step over those lines and help when there is a little bit more work that is needed in some areas. There may be a time when there's a lot more push notifications that need to go out than emails. So if you're a person that normally works on emails, it's not out of the ordinary for you to say, hey, I'll help you with these push notifications. The goal is to get the work done and get it done with excellence and to help each other out. So our workflow starts with a request form. There are members of the TFC staff that work throughout the week, and those are the primary individuals that we will receive requests from. On that request form, we learn about what types of communication are needed. So whether it's a push notification, an email, a letter, and we also get details on distribution. So when does it start? When does it end? That tells us when to take a graphic off of the website or when to put a graphic on the website, or same thing with the app. All of that information is in the request form, and it gives us the basis for what we need to refine for that requester. Once we review the request form to see what's needed, we'll delegate tasks. So on the previous slide, you saw the different groupings, which I'll discuss a little bit more as we go on. but based on what is needed, those tasks are then delegated out to those leads so that they can work on that request. When that is done, we have you put your name on a spreadsheet so we know who's working on the task, if someone was to ask for updates, or if there's a change in the request, then the requester knows who to contact. And like it says here, we'll contact someone to confirm that they will take on the task. So if I look in the spreadsheet and see that it's blank, that means no one has taken on the task. So we use that to ensure that someone is in fact working on it and can meet the need in a timely fashion. Then once all of the work is done, we email a response and we list all of the requested content in the body of the email. And if it's a push notification, we don't put that content in the email. We just let them know that, hey, we scheduled 3 push notifications or 4 push notifications because this event is several months out. So we had enough time to do maybe 6 push notifications. So those are the kind of information that we include in that response. So we'll talk about it in detail now. So when we review the request, this is what the request form looks like. This is the start of it. This is the link to the form. It has been provided to all of the staff members at TFC. And any ministry leaders who may not have it, they will typically get the link from a staff member, or they'll contact me or Alicia. Anyone can give them the link because it's simply them putting in a request for what they may need. As you may see, there's some notes about what should be attached, what they should prepare as they fill out the form. We can't typically move forward with our work when we don't have the image available. So there is a lot of emphasis on making sure that image is available. And then sometimes people, as I said, they come with a full draft and they just simply want us to review it and make sure that it's grammatically correct, and they would just upload it in this form. There is space for them to do that. So this is what the form looks like. Then when we delegate tasks, if you're familiar with Google Forms, you know that it automatically generates a spreadsheet. This is an example of what the spreadsheet looks like. We have this grayed out area so that you can put the name of the person who's working on it. So if it's you working on it, you would put your name here so that we know, and then you would highlight it in yellow until it is complete. When it's complete, it's changed to green and it's hidden. So if there's a request that has not been tended to, you'll see it's still gray, and know that, you know, someone needs to pay attention to it prior, you know, before the date that it's supposed to be distributed. So that's how you know if a task has been delegated or not. And then finally, when you email a response back to let them know it was completed, you'll see in this example, this was for the Christmas service. We received the request, the image and the description has been added to the website and the app. And then we scheduled 2 push notifications in the app. And then because the administrator, this is the administrator, she actually sends out text messages. We just provided her with the text messages to use in her system to send it out, because we don't send that out directly. It comes from her. And then on the Thursday announcements, she usually wants a short snippet to go along with the image that is provided in the Thursday announcements. So that's just an example of what it looks like when it's all done. So let's talk about areas of service. You probably heard a few of them already. You've heard about emails, you've heard about push notifications, you've heard about text. So there's a lot of different ways that TFC communicates with partners and that are here locally, and partners that are connected through Faith Nation. So we use the app, we use text messages, and any other form of short reminders, which includes social media, whether it's the Faith Center page or the TFC group. Then we also review pastor sermons and create the PowerPoints that are used in his sermons on Sunday mornings. We also review any emails, like a standalone email, for instance, like the Christmas offering. We review that email and send it out. Any letters that go to community members, we'll review those, and any scripts that are used by ministries such as the care team, when they contact individuals to follow up with them, we review their scripts and make sure it flows well and it meets the need or the objective that is trying, the objective that they're trying to achieve on that particular project or initiative. So those are the key areas of services. Kind of like, I call these short messages. I call the emails, letters, and scripts long messages, and then sermons is kind of its own category. So let's talk about that. So apps, app notifications, texts, and reminders. This is what an app notification looks like on your phone, if you have an iPhone. This is the preview that is provided within PushPay. That is the platform that we use to send out our push notifications. So PushPay, when you receive a notification, you'll see a title, a subtitle, you'll see an image, and then when you click on this notification, it opens up to a broader message. These are sent out by members of the TFC communications team. We send them out maybe about Man Cave, the table, reset, any special events that may require registration, and we want to remind people that it's available and they should sign up. We can send out a push notification. We can either schedule them or we can send them spontaneously. Next are text messages. Those are sent out by the church administrator. Again, same thing, reminders about Wednesday sessions, registration deadlines, and special events. The only difference is that it has a character limit. So we have to be very careful and coordinated about how we package things for our text messages, because we do have to adhere to a character count. Service, another area of service is the sermons and PowerPoint. Now, sermons and PowerPoints are reviewed and created in a rotation. So currently what we have is each person is assigned 1 week. So I may do the 4th Sunday. So when pastor sends his notes, we'll review them and we'll make sure they get out to the media team and the marketing team, who post and interact on YouTube and Facebook throughout the service. So this is just an example of what pastor's notes may look like after we're done with it. As you see, it's color coded because there's different placements for the content on the different screens that you see in church. This is how we know what goes on the larger screen that you see in the background versus the side screens, or even the TV screen that he uses for a presentation, like that he taps on the interactive board. We actually create a PowerPoint that he's clicking through, and using these different color codes, we know what goes on that PowerPoint and what does not. So as you find your way in our ministry or in our team, if this is one of the areas in which you want to serve, or that we feel is a good fit for you, you'll learn and be trained on how to review his sermons and transition them into PowerPoints. So we do have a sermon checklist that also helps you to understand the different components of his notes and how it works. We do also receive templates from the marketing team. So again, even though we're not a marketing team per se, we work very closely with social media, marketing, and all of the teams that interact with people. So if people are going to read it, 99% of the time it's coming through the communications team for review. So the next area of service is emails, letters, and scripts. So emails, these are email announcements that go out. These little things here are where the images were. Kind of shrunk them down so we could fit it on this screen. But typically you get Thursday announcements that are laid out in this format. You get the link to the registration, you have an image, and then there's a little snippet that kind of tells you about the image that is shown or the flyer that is shown. So we help come up with these. And by come up, I mean the administrator will usually have some details about it, and she'll send us a draft. We'll review it, make sure, again, it matches the tone and the culture of TFC, send it back, and she'll include it in the announcements. An email message. So this message is an example of a letter from Pastor Campbell. So he wrote this letter, I believe it was for Christmas a year or two ago. And we read through all of it, checked it for grammar, spelling, punctuation, all of those things, and sent it back to him so that he could send it out to TFC. As you probably know, or you'll come to learn as a TFC partner, he doesn't send out a lot of letters. So this is why I said in the beginning that, we help each other. So email messages, even though you're on that group or subset, you may not have a lot of tasks to complete at the time. So if there are tasks to help out in other places, we just ask that you be willing to serve in that area as well. There are other letters that may go out to the community. So this is an example of a donor letter for a basketball tournament. We were looking for sponsorships and donations, and this is a letter that went out to the community. So not only do we deal with in-house communication, we also review communication that is going out to the public. And then again, here's an example of a script that was used for Man Cave, and just another, a script that was used to get more men to come out to these events that are listed in here. But as you can see, we just went through it, make sure it was easy for whomever who is reading it, make sure that they're able to do it, that it comes across clearly, all the information is provided, and that they're able to meet that objective of getting the individuals to come out and attend the events. So the last thing on here is our skills discovery. So now that you've kind of had an overview of all the different areas that are included and fall under the umbrella of TFC communications, we want you to fill out this form and let us know what area you are interested in. And we also have just a few sentences for you to look through and tell us how you would improve those sentences. So at this time, I would like for you to take out your phone, if you can, if you're not using your phone to look at this presentation, and you can scan the QR code and you can work on that form. And once you do that, the next steps are to place you with a group within TFC Communications team, and we'll get to serving.